Hey everybody, and welcome to Kara's Book Talk. Today I'm going to be reviewing the book Renegades by Marissa Meyer. And I know there's quite a bit of controversy over this book. A lot of people either really didn't like it, some people did like it, and so I'm here to talk about that and how I felt about the book. So let's get started. I gave this book 4.5 stars out of 5. I actually quite enjoyed this book, and so let's tell you why. Um, so if you haven't heard anything about this book is kind of a superhero mix slash, yeah, I would just say superhero mix. Um, the start off of the book, well, my book, I got the Barnes& and Noble edition right here. You can see, hopefully, the Barnes& and Noble special edition because it's so important. But it has extra behind the scenes content and more. And I've watched a couple other reviews where people got the arc and they didn't have this fancy little beginning part where it actually kind of goes through. It says cast of characters. I don't know if you can see that. Cast of characters. So if you got the arc and that doesn't have that in there, I would suggest buying your own copy. Just because I really found useful the cast of characters to reference while I was going back and reading through, kind of just to give me who's who and what's what. There are quite a few characters in this book, and you kind of need to keep track of not only who they are, but their superhero double name, their secret identity. So it's almost like double the amount of characters you have to remember because everyone has two names, and you have to kind of keep them straight in your head. And then the cast of character also has all of their superpowers as of known. That's also really helpful because you get not only their names and their secret identities, but you also get what superpowers they have. So we follow our awesome main character, Nova, who she goes by the name Nightmare. And then you also have Adrian, and he is goes by the name Sketch. Yeah, I think he goes by Sketch. And so I will tell you that this book has switching perspectives. So one chapter is in Nova's perspective, the next chapter is in Adrian's perspective. So that's a little interesting if you don't aren't a big fan of switching perspectives, this book may not be for you because it does switch perspectives quite a lot. I personally loved it. I like getting a guy's perspective in books. You don't have that very often. And I think Marissa Meyer does a really good job of switching perspectives and showing the different points of view. So I quite enjoyed that aspect, but I know that does bother some people, so just so you know, that is in this book. So we start off with Nova, and her superpower is she can put anyone to sleep. And alternatively, she also cannot sleep. So she is on the side of the anarchists who are the bad guys in this series. And then you have the renegades who are the good guys. And Adrian is a renegade. And so you kind of get a little bit of backstory of Nova, like right off the bat. It's like when she's like 5 or 6, kind of get this backstory of her and her family. And stuff happens to her family, and the renegades never come to help her. And the whole time she's just thinking, the renegades are gonna come, they're gonna save my family, it's gonna be okay. Well, the renegades never come, and the anarchists do. And so that's how she kind of gets into the anarchist gang of she feels like she was let down by the renegades. She doesn't feel like she can trust them. She thinks they're all talk and no action. So Nova is in the anarchist family. And then you have Adrian, who was raised by basically Wonder Woman in this series, and Wonder Woman dies. And so he's an orphan, and so he's raised by basically Batman and um, Superman in this series. That's not really their names, but in my head I was just picturing them as Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and I can't even remember their names honestly. It's just that's who they were to me. So the Renegades, and Marissa Meyer has even come out and said she based the main six original Renegades on the Justice League. So she's specifically come out and said that Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, those three especially, there's also like a girl that's basically Hawkeye, or not Hawkeye, Hawk Girl, and like, I don't know, I just felt that was one of my issues with this book, I will be honest, was the fact that you have limitless amounts of possibilities with superpowers. Like, that's just literally anything. And you choose to basically just copy what someone else already has. So I did not love that. I felt the anarchists were very much better thought out a little bit. The main bad guy, Ace, is basically Magneto though from X-Men. So kind of got that same thing going on of he even has a helmet like exactly the same as Magneto. Like, I'm sorry, but let's be a little bit more creative here and try to push ourselves outside the box. She has a lot of other really cool superpowers though, and superheroes, super villains. And so it was just like her main core group that I had a problem with. But since they're kind of like the older generation, they're now like the ruling government. And so our kids that are focusing on now, Nova and Adrian, they are like 16, 17 kind of age, I think. So they're like more teenagers, and so they are the next generation. Anyways, so Nova decides that she is going to become a spy for the anarchists, and she's going to go undercover into Renegades. So then she has this third personality, not personality, but like a secret identity of insomnia. So now you have Nova, Insomnia, and Nightmare. All that is one person. One person here. You've got three names for them. So that gets a little bit confusing. And then Adrian also has another secret identity. And I can't remember what it is, but he also has three names that you have to remember. And so that was a little bit confusing. I get why people didn't like that aspect of the book. That's been, from what I've read and listened to, that's been most people's complaints with this book is there's a lot of characters introduced real fast right off the bat, and it's kind of hard to keep them all in track in your mind, especially when each of them has multiple identities, and you have to figure out who is who. Yeah, but let's talk about the good things. Okay, I really loved Nova, really loved Adrian. I loved their dialogue and their sassy comments to each other. I like the friendships that form between all of them. Nova's an interesting character because she is an anarchist, but she is now working with the Renegades, and so she kind of has this like whole self reflection, I guess you could say, where she's trying to figure out, well, I like you, but I don't like you because you're a renegade and I'm an anarchist and I can't like you. But you're my friend and I'm working with you and you're my teammate and I'm trying to like figure out all this other stuff going on. So that kind of gets a little bit annoying. I have heard people don't like that aspect of it, but I thought it was interesting. I thought it was good character development where she does have this like self-reflection of who really is the bad guy. I mean, the anarchists don't think they're the bad guys. They think the renegades are the bad guys, and the renegades don't think the renegades don't think they're the bad guys. They think they're the good guys. So I think it was an interesting concept of who is really good, what that really means to you, and how is that reflected in the characters. Um, I honestly found the anarchists to be the most interesting, quite frankly. You get more time with them, I think, than any of the renegades, and so you kind of get to see how they interact with each other. And they are definitely outcasts in this world where the renegades rule. And so I thought it was very interesting. And then when Nova and when Adrian are talking, they actually talk a lot about like what they want for our world or what they want for their world, what they want, like hopes and dreams for themselves, and what they want to be doing in the next 10 years. I thought that was really interesting. They have a lot of the same mindset, so I think that'll be fun to kind of see where that goes in the next book. And I just really thought overall, I loved the characters, loved the dialogue and the sassy comments. If you've read the Lunar Chronicles, you know what I'm talking about. Marissa Meyer brings it back again in the Renegades. So I thought that was really great. One reason I gave it only 4.5 stars instead of the full 5, like I said, I just didn't love all of there were some plot holes that I just found to be very confusing. And even though I pushed through and like it makes sense, if you just kind of go with it, but if you dig a little deeper, you're kind of like, wait, what? What is going on? And I think she answers some of those plot holes at the very, very end. And I think she's going to answer more of those in the next book. But some of them, a lot of it just, I can see why people didn't like this book for the fact that some of it is confusing. Um, but like I said, if you have the character list, I feel like it makes a little bit more sense. You can kind of keep it more in your head of who is who, and I just really loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was a fun read. I love Marissa Meyer, and it was really fun to dive into her newest world. She's been doing so much with the Lunar Chronicles that it was nice to get a little bit something different. So, and I'm really intrigued with the next book of the Renegades, which she just released. I think it's supposed to be coming out either the end of this year or the beginning of next year. So I'm really excited for that. That should be great. And I will warn you that if you do not like cliffhangers, then stay away until the second book has come out, because this baby right here's got a lot. It's got a huge cliffhanger at the end, and I hated it. I was just like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Who? What? Where? When? Why? I have all these questions now, and I just don't even know. So, no spoilers. I won't say what happened, but I will say that there's a terrible cliffhanger at the end of this book, and I need the second one now, is all I'm saying. So, there's that. Um, but yeah, so if you liked Renegades, if you didn't like Renegades, comment below. What did you like? What didn't you like? If you agree with me. And we will see you next time. Bye!